Hello, everybody. This is Christine Bertram coming to you live from my makeshift hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, the foot of the lake. In case you didn't know, that's what that stands for in French. So I don't speak much French. Parlez-vous français? That's about all I know. So, all right, I'm going to try to get you guys up on my phone too so I can watch along. Can you believe it? I'm going to say it. It's Thursday, and we're officially halfway through September. And wow. So I think that we have a whole half a month left. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? So it's only the 17th, and we have like 2 more weeks yet. So that is exciting. And oh, we have been having some beautiful weather here. So I mentioned last week, Thursday, that I was going to be taking some vacation days on Tuesday and Wednesday because they looked like the best days. Hi, Randy from Southwest Michigan. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be 77 degrees and less than a 10% chance of rain. And hi, Diane. Hi, Karen. And life is good. There's no rain that happened the last 2 days. And my whole thought was, I'm going to get this stone done. I'm going to get it done. I think I can, right? The little engine that could. And I didn't. But wow, we made a lot of progress. Well, I should say I did. I worked on it pretty much by myself all day Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Tyler helped me for a couple hours on Tuesday night. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Mary. So thanks for joining. I love it when you gals put where you're from. I really like to see that. It's awesome. It makes me like, wow, we got all the way to So and So's place tonight. So needless to say, I'm not done with the stone. I don't know if you guys remember what it looks like out in the mudroom area. There's a 1.5 by 5 window, a 5 by 5, and a 1.5 by 5. Hi, Rebecca from Canada. So Rebecca, I owe you a card. I have to go to the post office to mail it. And that means I have to go to the post office, which ever since I got a software on my computer to do labels, I don't have to go to the post office anymore. Hi, Elaine. So, hi, Lila. Hi, Cindy. So, Rebecca, I will be getting to the post office. Maybe I'll try to go on my lunch hour tomorrow or Saturday. So, but back to the stone. It's a lot of work, and everybody keeps saying, but it's going to be so pretty when it's done. Well, I know that. It's going to look awesome when it's done, but it's still a lot of work. Oh, my goodness. And so I will have to show you here, like, I don't know if you can see this, but how shiny my fingertips look. Like, I have been working with this stone, and it has worn my fingertips off. Like, I do not have much of my imprint, like ID, whatever, like your personal identification thing for your fingertips. I know they'll come back, but they're worn. And so Tyler too, when he's at work, hi Denise, he has to punch in with his finger, and he's had to redo it now a couple times because his fingerprint keeps changing. Hi Angie. Hi Cindy. So, oh my gosh. And I'm just excited for it to be done. So needless to say, I thought we'd finish on Wednesday. And thanks for sharing, Diane. And it's not. I'm like, shoot, we're not even going to get this done on Saturday with what's left. And it has to be done by Saturday because we're doing the rough grade on Sunday and concrete driveways getting poured. Oh, so tomorrow at like 4:30, when I'm done with work, hi Francie Freeberg, tomorrow at 4:30, I am buttoning up work, and I am going to be out there till 10 o'clock. And it was 10:30 on Tuesday night. It was 10 hours on Tuesday and 9 hours on Wednesday. So, okay, that's enough of me ranting and raving about the project. So, I know you girls have probably been waiting for pictures. Hi, Donna. And I normally send pictures when we are done with a phase. Well, I'll be honest, tomorrow marks 4 weeks that we've been working on the stone. Every weekend, and then some weeknights, we've worked on this. We didn't go camping Labor Day weekend. We worked on stone. And so I'm very happy that as soon as this is done, I don't care what phase we're on, I'll send you pictures of the step by step, so you can see this is what 1 weekend we got done. This was at the end of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So yeah. Oh my gosh. It's going to be awesome. And I know everybody says, when you cool into the driveway, it's going to look really great and you're going to be so happy you did it. Yeah, it's good. So yes. Okay. So that's enough about the stone. Oh my goodness. So, but in case I know a lot of people have been watching and following along on the project since March. Basically, March 23rd is when I did my first Facebook Live, and we basically started the project March 25th or 4th, somewhere around there. So wonderful. I just want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in. I have a lot of current existing customers that watch me live, and I have a bunch of new customers, and I appreciate all of you. I know that you can pick and choose what you do on a Thursday night, and it doesn't always involve me, but I appreciate it. I look forward to it all week, getting back together with you. And it's really crazy because I know that you're not all in the room with me, but it feels like it. And I know you have a choice when it comes to, demonstrators, and for those that have started to attend my classes virtually and purchase from me to get classes for free or to pay the fee. I appreciate that so much too. It really proves and shows me that what I'm doing is working, and you guys are liking me. So people have been telling me that they've enjoyed watching my videos. So all my quirky craziness, I appreciate you and putting up with me. I love to make you laugh, and I love laughing. So hi Bobby from Michigan. Hi Angela. Hi Sue. So thank you again. Just a couple of things. Kelly, my marketing gal, who's also my first cousin, she's been helping me since May of 2015, I think. That's when we got my Facebook page up and running. Isn't she fabulous? Give me some likes and hearts if you love what Kelly does for the content. She basically helps me run my whole Facebook page and the VIP page, which once you become a customer by buying a class or placing an order, you become my customer. So for those that are watching, I try my best to invite you to that VIP group, but if for some reason I failed to do that, you just have to send me a message and I will make sure to get you added to that. So hi, Kathy Jackson. Thanks for sharing. So you probably saw on there recently that there was a post about these gnomes. People go crazy for gnomes. And I saw it in all reality on that post. And I put a little blip. So Kelly started that post and then I added to it and I said, hey, does anybody want to do a class? And so I got so much response back that it was like, okay, I should do a class, of course. Where and when, that's the question. So I looked at my calendar and we were supposed to be going to Salt Lake City, Utah, the first week of November for On Stage, and that's all virtual now. So I have that Monday night open and I have that Wednesday night open. And of course, instead of taking a break and relaxing, I put gnome classes on the schedule. So the Monday night's going to be the online class and the Wednesday night is going to be the in-person class. And girls, it's first come, first serve for the in-person. Once I have seating capacity filled, it'll be done. And on that Thursday, there won't be a live event or a live class like this. Oh my gosh, it'll be the first Thursday not having a live class on Thursday because it'll be Monday because there's an on-stage recognition event that Thursday night. So if you're crazy for the gnomes, stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be a product-based class, meaning that I'm putting together a little package of all the supplies that you're going to need. Hi, Mary Carls. It'll be all the supplies you need, including the coffee cups, the packs of paper, the bells, the ribbons. And so what's going to happen is you'll get all the product, and then I'll do a live class like I normally do, so you can watch me put them together. And I'll also have a written PDF tutorial so that you can have a paper copy. And you'll have plenty of supplies. And I'm going to throw in a card, a gnome card. Thanks for sharing, Randy. I'll throw in a gnome card too. And so with the coffee cups, you get enough to make 8 gnomes. So you're going to have get to make gnomes to your heart's content. So lots of loves and hearts if you're a gnome fan. Not saying you have to do the class, but give me some love if you guys like to see the gnomes. So, and again, for the online version of it, there's no cap on the number of people, but for the in-person, I'll have to cap it at how many people I can fit around the table and what phase we're in with COVID. But normally it's like 10 to 14, depending on where we're at. So, okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera down. I'm gonna show you here. These are the cards we're gonna be making tonight. Thanks for sharing, Mary. So these are very fall-inspired cards. I just love these browns and the Cajun craze and the green. So I do want to show you, this is what we're going to be making tonight. Thanks for sharing, Deborah. But I want to show you, I was a busy little bee last night. So I finished my in-person class at 9 and I went upstairs and I stamped till midnight and I made 2 more cards for the Gilded Autumn. Girls, I've not been slacking. I really have been working on stone, but it's been taking me out of, so I've been in the stone zone and not in the card zone. Hi, Chris. And so I know the Gilded Autumn class is coming up very, very quick. It's actually, I think, like, Gilded Autumn is the 30th, which is a Wednesday, and the online version is October 1st. I have an in-person on the 26th as well. So I have 3 of the 4 cards designed, and I had to share them with you. I am loving the copper and the metallic. You can kind of see the shimmer. This is copper, there's gold, and then there's this shimmery copper ribbon. And I've got these adorable little acorns on 2 of the cards. So I have 1 more card to design for this class. I tried my darndest to get that other card done last night, but this girl was beyond pooped. So I'm working on it. At some point this weekend, by Saturday, I will have the last card made, and I will share this with you via Facebook, and my website will be updated so that you guys can see this. So just know for tonight, like, if anybody's looking to place an order and would like to get something with their order, this is an option. This class would be free with a $40 order if you're mailing it, if I have to mail it. And if it's a porch pickup, it's $25. The difference is the extra $15 helps offset the cost of mailing it, so it's a win-win for both of us. So these are 3 of the cards. I just had to share them. The other thing that's coming up too is the MS benefit. There's 5 cards that Bonnie, Cheryl, and Angie designed. Oh, and I was going to grab them, and they're on my display board out there. So I showed them last week, and they are also on, I don't think we have pictures of them. Oh, they're on the flyer on my website, I think. So so that is still, registrations are open through September 24th. There's 5 cards, and they're free to make in person or get them completed and sent in the mail to you with a $25 donation. So very, very cool. And then just a reminder too, if anybody's looking to become a demonstrator and be a Be Happy stamper, there's a great promotion going on now where you get 2 free stamp sets and a package of rhinestones and kits to make 16 cards, all for $99 plus tax, and a paper pumpkin, a free future paper pumpkin. So it's a good deal. And the Be Happy stampers are a great community. We rock. Give all those girls that are on the Be Happy team. I know there's a bunch of you out here watching. Throw out some hearts, because then you guys can see how much of a great group we are. So we have a team meeting this Sunday at 4:30, and it's in person and virtual. For those that are far away or can't make it, I do a Zoom and a Facebook meeting, so it includes everybody. So wonderful, wonderful. So that's also another promotion. So on that note, I'm going to start rolling through the cards. So I do want to do a quick little shout out. So this was the monthly class for September, and I've got both Angelas on here, Barb from Arizona, Danny, and Danny's not participating tonight. She has a laundry list of stuff that needs to get done, and so she apologized. She wanted me to tell you girls that she's gonna miss you, but she'll catch you the next class. Isn't that awesome? Mary's got the cards, so she's probably ready to go. Pat picked up her cards as well. Rachel's going to watch the replay. Michelle, this is your very first class, so I hope you enjoy it. And then Joanna, I hope you got your kits. So Kathy and Lori too. So just, girls, when it comes to my online classes, I mail the kits on Mondays, and some of you get your kits Tuesday, some Wednesday, and some Thursday, and then some even later. So it's crazy how the postal office or the postal system works. But I'll tell you, like Mary Carl's, she waited 2 weeks, I think it was one time, or 10 days to get something, and she lives like 30 minutes from me, and it got hosed up in the mail system somewhere. So just know that I do my best to get them out first thing on Monday. And honestly, if you do miss you don't have your kits for the live and you're watching, you can always catch the replay or just have fun watching and put the cards together later. So I do my best to get them to you though. So hi Julie, thanks for sharing. So which one shall we do first? Well, I think I'm going to go with this one because this is the first card I designed. So I had so much fun. I did this as a swap card, and I didn't dummy it down a little bit, but for a swap card, there's a lot of layers and a lot of pieces going on. And when you're doing swap cards and you're making like 20 or 30 of one card, you try to eliminate a little bit where you can. And so it's really hard to see it, but on this back, there's a, oh, there you can see it. I embossed that and added a mat. But for my swap, I took that off just to help with that. Oh, Mary, you got yours on Tuesday. Yeah, like one day. So crazy. So that's one thing that when you're making swap cards, this is a really easy, nice layout. There's a little bit of stamping and then a little punching, not a lot of die cutting. So you gotta be really careful when it comes to cutting and fussy cutting when you do swap cards. So this is a really cool layout. So this is a stamp set in the holiday catalog that's called Life is Beautiful. And I know that as soon as I see naturey things, I get them because my boyfriend is all over naturey things. And so he liked this card. And he doesn't always like my cards because I make lots of girly cards. So hi, Julie. So this is Life is Beautiful. And then what I did is I accompanied that with some dies that we used last week. These are awesome. These are the Celebration Labels dies. And I used 2 layers here. The not the let's see here, let's just pull them out real quick. So there's a bunch of different sizes, and I pulled out, so for those that got the kits, you have these already die cut. So it's the 3rd largest and then the 2nd largest, and I used Old Olive, Very Vanilla, and then Early Espresso. Hi, Bonnie. And so those are the 3 primary colors in here. Did throw in a little pop of color on that. I also pulled in this punch right here, which we'll be using. This is, I think it's called Pick a Label Lovely Punch or something like that. It's a pick a punch because there's 2 different punches, but then times 3 each gives you 6 different things. Yeah, Lila, I love these cards. So Campology, Diane is making some cards with Campology, and he gave her a copper leaf and a silver bottle cap because he loved her cards so much. So he's very, very into nature and outdoorsy. And so it's nice to have cards that are kind of manly like that. So these are some dies that I pulled in with this punch and then the stamping. Now, for the people that got the kits too, the embossing folder is one of my favorites. It's the Tasteful Textiles. And so you've already got your piece here embossed. And yeah, I could have, I thought about taking the card and running this through. But what happens sometimes is this side gets eaten on the old Big Shot. On the new Boss, we're calling the Stampin' and Cuttin' and Emboss machine the Boss, there's more wiggle room, so it would have worked. So you could have embossed the whole front panel of the card, but sometimes it's easier just running a 1/4 sheet of paper through an embossing folder and slapping on another layer. And then it gives it this extra little bit of depth for it. Hi, Jean, thanks for sharing. All right. So let's go to this kit right here. I showed you everything that's in it. And let's see where they are right here. So grab out your kits. And if you are making this at home, I'll try to give you measurements as we go as well. If you want to create and craft with. So this is your 8.5 by 5.5. And I do have it scored at 4 1/4. When I'm designing my cards, I purposely try to score mine that I do live in front of you so it's easier for me to fold. Grab your bone folder, burnish your edges, and what you have for layers here. Inside your kit, you're going to have a piece of Very Vanilla that's 4 by 5 1/4, not stamped like mine. By the magic of TV, mine is stamped on my inside already. And then you have this Early Espresso, same size, 4 by 5 1/4, and yours will be already embossed like that with the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder. Okay, so those are those layers. Everybody will have 2 pieces of Old Olive. One's Old Olive and one's Very Vanilla. And they're die cut with those labels that we just talked about. So those are ready for you. And so you'll also have, I did your punching for you. So let's grab the slip here so you can see. There's 2 pieces in your kit. The vanilla one started off at 3/4 by 2 3/4. And the espresso started at 1 by 3 1/8. And those are good measurements for making a label that nestles inside, like the vanilla inside the espresso. And so to punch these, they have one that's a more pointy punch, and then there's one that's more flat on the end. And what you have to do is you can do, this is 3/4, and then there's a 1/2 inch, and then there's a 1 inch. So this 3/4 fits in this track like that. And what you can do is just push it all the way. And that's the wrong one. I want to do this one. So what you do is you just push it all the way. into the punch. Now, I generally don't punch blind, like by looking at the top. I always flip it over and I punch so I can see what I'm punching. This punch has a tendency to wanna wiggle to the left and the right, and then it gets it so it's not centered, and then you're sad because you have to recut it and punch a new one. So I always look at the back of this one in particular, and you just wanna make sure your paper's flush along the edge, and then it's basically making two 90-degree angles. And so the way that I have the vanilla cut at 2 3/4 is that once you get both ends punched properly, you have it to be a certain size, and then with the espresso being 1 by 3 1/8, watch it, it better fit in here exactly. So it fits right in there, and you get about the same margin all around. So it took me a bit of trial and error with that, trying to get that measurement. So I just know if it's this one's 2 3/4, that's 3 1/8, and then they went perfectly good. So yes, this punch wiggles, and what happens is you end up with these things not matching, and then they look bad. So that's how I did the punch. And again, for the people who got your online kits from me, I did your punching for you, and I did all of your die cutting and your embossing. Actually, not me. Pat Torres helped me. She's been a wonderful helper. So I did want to show you something today, girls. I meant to do this last week, and with Naughty Nancy here, I completely forgot. And I'm blaming it on Nancy because I had this sitting here and I got so distracted so many times. But I wanted to show you girls how to re-ink an ink pad. I don't know if you've ever done this before or not, but if you have, just follow along and pretend that you're listening. And if you haven't, this is a great aha in case you wonder like what happens when you keep using your pads. So if you flip over your ink pads, when you get them, there are these stickers on the bottom. And I generally put the stickers on the end. So you have, I think, French, and you have English, and 2 other languages. And I forgive me for not remembering. I think one is Japanese, and I can't remember the other one. But this is an old style ink pad. And on the new style ink pads like this, they are more flat all the way around. So I put those stickers all the way around the edges. And then I even save one for the middle here that has no words on it. So those are what the stickers are for on the bottom. But what I wanted to show you is how to re-ink an ink pad. I know that in class, people have a tendency to always go to the middle of the ink pad. That's what I generally do. And if I don't feel like re-inking the ink pad, I learn to go along the edge to get ink. But the other alternative is just to re-ink the ink pad. So when I started stamping 20 years ago, I never bought the re-inkers. Don't ask me why I had it in my head that I didn't need re-inkers, but if you have the re-inker, you're set for life with this ink pad. This does hardly run out. I mean, I go through more re-inker because I have people coming to class, but as long as you get the re-inker, you're golden. So I've had to sell a lot of my ink pads through the years because I didn't have the re-inker. And it's not like it was dried up. It was just not inking as good as it could. And so you could mist it to rejuvenate it. But if you would have the re-inker, all you have to do is go back and forth lightly with the re-inker. And you put ink on it. I go that way. And then I also go this way, just a little bit more. But what happens is, and you can't see this, I don't think, on the camera. Oh, there, you can kind of see the lines going on. If you would go into the ink pad right now and try to ink up, you would get ink lines. So what you want to do is, oh my gosh, Jean, that's a fabulous idea. You can wrap the sticker. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do it with this brown one. Okay, so squirrel. So take a spoon, a plastic spoon, a kitchen spoon, any spoon. And what you're going to do is massage the ink back and forth like this, each direction. And that's going to help to even out the ink that you just put on your pad to give yourself a more consistent stamped image. So there's that. So I don't know if all of you knew that or not, but if this is something you have never done, now you should consider getting the ink pads or the re-inkers because you can re-ink your ink pads. So grab yourself your wet wipe and then just wipe your spoon off or throw it in the dishwasher or the sink, where I found a centipede this morning. Oh my gosh, I get 1 centipede a year. I don't know how those little buggers get in the house, but it's always in the kitchen sink. And the thing was, oh my gosh, huge. And so, ugh. Anyways, I thought of my kitchen sink and cleaning a spoon. You girls had me think about that. But yes, this is what Jean just said to do. I love it. So what I did on the top of mine here is I wrote early espresso in really bad chicken scratch with a little baby permanent marker because I have all mine in a tub, and so I can really only see the covers. But some people take a 1/4 inch circle punch of the cardstock and put it on the top. But I don't know where, but I'm going to put it here, Jean. But I'm not going to put it on really tight in case you tell me there's a better idea for it. So, hi, Patricia. Yes. So she's saying here, take that sticker and put it on your reinker, and then you can see it from the side too. So there, I just wanted to show you, give me some thumbs up if that's new to you and that you really good that was helpful for seeing. So we're going to do some stamping. Okay, so grab out your early espresso. If you don't have early espresso, or if you have a different color brown, that definitely works. I know when I send kits out, people don't always have the same stamps to use as I do or the same color inks. So just know when you get your kits, you're going to have to be creative, as Danny told me today. So what you're going to do is take the Hello stamp, which comes from the set right there. You can just see it. And you're going to stamp that right in the middle of your label like that. Now, if you don't have Hello, that's okay too. Whatever you have that fits nicely in the label will work just fine. A really good one to use if you don't have, or if you have it, let me show you here. There's something called Itty Bitty Greetings, and it's a double stamp set. And a blast from the past that I still love. It's in my arsenal. It's called Teeny Tiny Wishes. And it's just more of little baby fonts that are great on labels on the outsides of cards. Like, in this case, I use that little hello on there. So, okay, so we've got our little label stamp, so that's good to go. The chamois, I remembered to refreshen our chamois tonight, so that can get cleaned up good. Okay, and then what we have to do is we have to create the tree. This tree is a big tree like this, and we're not using the whole tree, but what we're doing is we're making the branch hang off like this. So, hi, Chris. So what you can do is ink that up, and now we're going to get a nice, really crisp, rich brown ink on our label here. So don't worry about the bottom half. As long as you got it inked up to right about there, you should be good. And what you're going to do is stamp the branch near the top of the card. Good even pressure. And you saw that I pulled out my piercing mat. That is to help provide a little extra cushion for the pushing here. So photopolymer stamps don't have foam on them like red rubber stamps. Like red rubber has the little bit of foam underneath, so you don't need to use a foam mat. But that really helps with photopolymer. So I always like to stamp off to get ink off before I go into my chamois. It helps keep a little bit of the ink out of the chamois. But that's all we need for that. And I think now we're done with brown. Thanks for sharing, Jean. Okay, now we've got the foliage, my leaves here. So there's a stamp in here. There's two actually. One is full of circles and one is full of leaves. And I didn't even know that the circles were here until I looked at this the other day. I've seen so many cute cards with like dots in the background with different colors, and that would be perfect for it. So, oh, Diane loves the first 3 Gilded Autumns. Yay, I like it. So, oh my gosh. So, I'll tell you girls, I got up there last night and I'm like, all I was thinking about was stone. I was in the stone zone thinking about getting that project done. And it took me a little bit to get into the card zone. Oh my goodness. So what I did is I inked up, and at first strength, I'm stamping all the olive. And then what I'm doing is picking up and gently moving it to either the left or the right to create a little bit more foliage. You can put as much or as little as you want. Hi, Becky Harding. So Becky, you're going to be making these on Monday night with me and Chris too. So I added a few more over there. The other thing you could do for good measure is stamp off once and then put a few more, and it would be more filler in the background. So what we've done there is created our tree that looks like it's coming off the edge of the paper. So that's it for the old olive. Now we've got the bird. Bird is the word, birdhouse. So now what do you do when you don't have, so it's a stamp, And it has 3 different things all in the same stamp. And you don't want to just make it all the same color. And this is really hard to see. I got a glue ball on there. But this is the birdhouse. So there's a birdhouse. There's a string or some kind of cording. And then there's 2 little birds on the side of it. And if you go into your ink pad and ink it, the whole thing is going to be colored the same. So what you can do is pull out your classic Stampin' Write markers or any water-based markers. Now, you know that if you've been watching me recently, we use blends a lot. And blends are the alcohol markers. And I don't use the water-based markers a lot, but this is the perfect scenario of when you could. When you want to color your stamp, you definitely want to use water-based markers. You don't want to use the alcohol-based markers because they are permanent markers and they will definitely stain your stamp. Now, I'm sure you can keep stamping with it just fine, but they'll forever change the color of your stamp. So what I'm doing is coloring them very quickly, I might add. It doesn't look that way, but I'm trying to go fast because there's water in this and that dries out. So now after you've got it all done, you do the Hufflepuff, and that helps to rehydrate. And then what your goal is to stamp your birdhouse so that it's hanging from the tree branch, just like that. There you go. So it's good to have it connect at the branch if you can. I did notice that mine got a little bit spotty. So if that happens to you and you want a little bit more, you could take and color in a little bit more just to give it a little bit more darkness. And that's how you do that. So don't be afraid to use water-based markers as stamp pads. So some people do that too. Before they invest in all of the different ink pads, you could get a set of the markers and you could easily color the backs of your stamps to get them to stamp as well. Hi, Kathy Ballard. So that's the little birdhouse. And I think that's all the stamping for right now. So let's go ahead and have our glue happy time. So, all right. So this label, I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue along the back of my Very Vanilla. If you don't use the liquid glue, any kind of double-sided tape or tape runner is just fine. Stampin' Up! Came out with a new one called Stampin' Seal. So that is a tape runner you could use. And I'll show you. It works just like the old ones. The snails used to work. And you just run it like this. And it's just a ton more stickier than the snail ever was, I think. So I had a tendency with the snail that it would come apart after a few months. It would dry out and then your paper would fall off. So you have to be very careful with the tape runner. You want to get it straight before you put it all the way down, because now if I try to pull this up, it will rip the paper. Whereas when you use the liquid glue, you have a little bit of wiggle room. So when you put this down, that glue is a little bit thicker and it allows for you to move the paper and wiggle it around. I don't know, the brown and brown, it's really hard to see that, but you can wiggle it around for about 10 seconds before it gets stuck. All right, so now we are going to take this piece of paper, and if you have your black dimensionals or your white dimensionals, either one will work. Let's grab those. I was so excited I remembered about the black dimensionals. So when you have more of a darker stuff that your paper cardstock that you're stamping and using with, the black dimensionals will be more hidden in the back versus the white. Then sometimes you see that in dark papers. I was talking with Naughty Nancy about this last night, that these black dimensionals, we have noticed that they are super gooey and sticky. They don't pull apart as easy as the white ones. Like if you make a mistake and you need to pull it up, they're pretty super sticky. So, all right, so we pop that on with some dimensionals. Then what you can do, flip over your little vanilla label and adhere that to the brown label with a little bit of whatever kind of adhesive, your adhesive of choice. And you have to be careful because it will wiggle around until it's set. Then flip that over and either grab your Terran tape. Stampin' Up! We have Terran tape. It can be used as double-sided tape or single-sided. In this case, I'm going to use it as double-sided. And that little bit of wax paper comes off and it's sticky then. And what I'm going to do is fold my ribbon. Now, I didn't fold it like a support ribbon like that. I actually just folded it like this and have it so that there's just a loop on the top, and then this kind of sticks to the back. And then what I'm going to do, just for good measure and to make sure it's really secure, I'm going to place another piece over the top. In this case, I'm going to leave it on there as like single-sided tape, because what I'm going to do is put a dimensional on each side of it. And then I'm also going to put one more right about there and there, because I can. So, you know, people always ask me, how many dimensionals should I put on my cards? I'm like, it's your preference. Put as many or as few on, but I always think more is better than not enough. So like in this case, I think you saw I put one right in the middle. If you went to put one in the middle, it would have kind of sagged in. So this way we've got good support on each of the four corners plus the middle. And now we've got our little ribbon here. Now if you're going to put this on here and you think, oh, I got too much of a loop here, you can still gently pull that down to get it a little bit so it's less. But I've got this along the bottom edge here. Just try to get it as straight as possible. That looks straight to me. And then once I have my ribbon on and the card pretty much set, that's when I take and I trim my tails. And I know that you're probably thinking I did them backwards. It's personal preference. In this case, for some reason, they wanted to go that way for me. And in this case, they went the other way. So trim your tails, though. I don't remember how big of a piece of ribbon I gave you, but this ribbon's awesome. We used it just one other time this summer. It's called, I hate saying this word, faux, F-A-U-X. It's like fake suede trim. And it's this soft, it feels just like suede. It's super cool. And it's in early espresso. And it is great for, if you're looking for a little bit of addition to a manly card, it's not going to bling it up crazy. So, all right. Last but not least, oh, we got one more thing. Did we glue this inside? Oh, yeah, we did. Cool. So last but not least, we have some pearls. And everybody that got the kits from me, I did go ahead. Oh, that's the bad side. So this is what will happen to your markers eventually with a lot of love. Like the thick end gets bad. I colored so many cards, people in class colored so many cards, but the thin end is still good. And so just because the thick end might have gotten demolished because of love and wear and tear, that happens, this side is still good. And so what I did is I colored the pearls with the old olive marker, and then we're going to just put a couple of them on the end. Now, you could have just left them as pearls, but when you put the pearls on here, they kind of get lost. And when you put the green pearl on there, it really adds a little bit of color. Hi, Carol Lee. Did you get your prize in the mail? You were a lucky winner last week of one of the drawings I had for one of my card classes. Okay, so if you're wondering about, I like to share with you girls where I get inspiration for cards, because I don't come up with all this stuff in my own head by myself, so don't give me all that credit. But I want to show you in the back of the holiday catalog. So I got this cut apart and spiral bound, so my catalog goes this way. In case you're wondering what's going on with this. Life is Beautiful is on page 51. And so I want to show you in the catalog here where I got my inspiration for this card. This bottom card right here is what I looked at to get my inspiration. And they used vanilla on vanilla, but the branch with the birdhouse is basically what I took from there. And then I did a different label and different ribbon, and I did 2 layers and emboss. So, but that's where I got my inspiration from. So these catalogs are handy little tools and resources if you're looking for inspiration. For my customers, I provide catalogs for free because you are my customer. If you're not my customer yet and you need a catalog, if you place an order, I will give you a catalog for free. And otherwise, I just charge $3 for the big one and $2 for the little one. And then whatever shipping is. So boom, we got one card done. How's that make you feel? Good, right? That wasn't so bad, right? Here we go. I'll do a close-up for it so you can see. That's what we got. And it's just a very, like, honestly, you could make this card into any occasion that you need. So, oh, Nancy, first time watching. Yay. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so we got one done. On to the next one. So we have 2 more here that we're going to make. And I think, which one did I make next? I made this one next. So we're going to save the other one for last. So you girls are going to learn a little bit with this one. A little bit about me too. So this one was cool. Like I don't so I'll have to be honest with you. When I do classes and I have about 28 to 36 people per class, that's a lot of designer series paper when you're using a big piece like this. So when I design for class, I generally use smaller pieces. Like if you noticed in this one, I used a small piece. You still get a snippet of it. Here I used a 3x4 and here I use strips. So I try to think hard about how I can maximize my paper. And in this case, you're like, wow, she used a whole like quarter sheet of paper on her card. Like, what's wrong with her? Dee, you want to make some cards? Great. I think I might have a set of these cards left. I'd have to check, but you'd have to wait for the mail to get them. So, hi, Carolyn. So she's like, why did she use I used a 5 by 3 3/4 piece of designer series paper. Wow, she was really nice. Well, here's the trick. When you use a piece of designer series paper, you want to get all the good stuff out of that paper, especially if you're covering up a whole chunk of it, right? So here's what I did. So in your kit, you're like, wow, she cut out the middle of my piece of paper. She stingers. So I did that for a reason, because when I designed this card, I designed it with the back side being your leaf in the front. And so I had to get that all out of there. So what I did is I got a little creative and I got my layering squares out. And I don't know why I did the scalloped one. For some reason I had it in my head to do the scalloped one. Don't ask me. But they have scallops and then they have squares. I could have definitely used one of the squares and not gone through like the scalloped edge look, but hey, it is what it is. So in your kit, you're gonna have this frame. That's what I'm gonna call it. And you could pick this side to be up and then swap out your acorn. You really could, that works. But I have it, I'm gonna make it with the pattern up. So Tyler's my boyfriend for you girls that don't know. And he saw this card on the counter or on the table and he's like, oh, it's a really nice card. Did you make this? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, it is kind of busy, but it's still nice. I'm like, dear, it's not busy. I don't think it's busy. Do you? There's like lots of acorns and stuff, but okay, enough about that. So let me show you what we got here. We got the 8.5 by 5.5, another espresso. Girls, thank goodness Diane. Diane's been commenting on here. She saved my neck. She lent me a whole pack of espresso paper because girl decides to make 2 cards for class with espresso paper, and then girl decides to make 3 more cards with espresso paper as the base. This girl bought 5 packs of espresso paper on the way. Okay, so we've got our espresso base. I did do a little stamping ahead for myself. So Magic of TV, this one's done. So this is your 4 by 5 1/4. And this leaf right here, if you're wondering, this, oh man, I didn't even tell you. Hang on, hold up, wait a minute. These are one of my new favorite bundles. Oh my goodness. So it is called Love of Leaves, and I gotta get that guy straight. Okay, Love of Leaves. Pretty fonts, cool leaves, but I love the dies. So these dies, they cut out the outside, and then they're stitching, and Angela's on here right now. Angela knows me. She knows I love stitched everything. And so what this does for you who got kits from me, that's stitching on your designer paper here. So what the process was to make this happen for you, you cut out your square, and then what you have to do is you have to flip over the piece to die cut this so that you get the rolled edges going the right way. And so that got die cut out with the stitching right over the top. And so it's got stitching up and down the veins. It's so super cool. And all these dies, there's an oak leaf and there's all these other little doodads here. They all have an outer and then the stitching. And then people were asking, what is this for? It's decoration. It makes your cards pretty. If you go on my Facebook page, I don't remember where or when, there was a card posted with this. And basically it was coming out the side of the card, and it just adds this really cool stitching all through the card. It's so pretty. That's just wherever those lines are. So it's a super, super cool bundle, and it's brand new in the holiday catalog. So that's what we used for this card. Oh my gosh, fun stitching. All right, back to, that was a squirrel moment. So, okay, so we've got this, and so that's where this leaf comes from. And it's stamped in Cajun Craze for all those wondering at home. I love Cajun Craze. I don't use it all year until like right now, until fall comes. So we can go ahead, and I made this into a thank you card. I use so many thank you cards, girls. So I always am looking for thank you cards, birthday cards. That's basically what I go through. And congratulations cards every now and then. I had a wedding this past weekend, and the next card that I'm going to be making I used as a wedding card. So so there was a inside on here that I kept because I'm going to design a card using this, and I'll have all the insides. So this Cajun Craze is your traditional mat. It's 5 1/4 by 4. And then this is your frame that's going to go on top of here. And then everybody's got in their kit, let's grab my sheets here. It's this one. Nope, it's this one. Hang on, hold up. Okay, so this is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. It's just a square. And then the vanilla is 3 by 3. And so this had a little bit of die cutting. You had to cut out the die out of here. So when you cut this out, can you see this? There's stitching all around the outside here too, which is super cool. So that'll go here. So let's get gluing. By the Magic of TV, I already stamped the thank you. The thank you comes from this set with a really pretty font. The die that I used for cutting this out is from another favorite set of mine. This is Tasteful Labels dies, and so this is one of those dies that come in that set. Okay, let's get glue happy. All right, hi Katie, how are you doing tonight? Okay, so what we're gonna do, you gotta be careful on this because you don't want to put lots of glue that it oozes out because you got a skinny little strip right there. All right, and then flip this over, and that's gonna go onto your Cajun Craze. Now, if you're wondering if there's a top and a bottom to the DSB, I'm like, there's a acorn going this way, one going this way, and then one upside down, and everything is just a mishmash. So sometimes you have to be very careful when you're putting your designer series paper on, not that it's upside down. So always look at it before you put it down. And then what I'm gonna do is, oh my goodness, this is the brushed metallic paper that comes in a pack of 6 12 by 12 sheets. And this is, I believe, the copper one. It was a controversy of which one was copper and which one was bronze. Or I think there's bronze, copper, and gold. And so this one we think is copper. It was really hard to tell. And this is embossed with the tasteful, wrapped in texture embossing folder. Thanks for sharing, Arliss. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to glue that down. You know, you're wondering why I didn't glue this one down yet, but I like to adhere things from more like the top then down, and I do that in case I need to snip off ends that are too long. So I'm going to do this first, and then if my brushed metallic is too long, I can snip it off before I put it onto my mat or my card base here. So a little bit of glue on the back of that, and I'm trying to get it in the center. Now, if you're a person that needs to get a ruler out to make sure it's centered properly, that's all on you, and if you're okay eyeballing it, just go for it. So now if my brushed metallic, so for those of you who get my card kits from me, sometimes I do cut things a little long because I'd rather have them long than short because you can see it when it's short. If it's long, you could take your scissors and just snip that right off. But I cut it really good. I get a gold star, and I can go ahead and put this mat onto my Early Espresso card base. Now, if you're a dimensional person, you could have dimensionalized that layer as well. Then what we're going to do is adhere the Very Vanilla mat here onto the Early Espresso 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. A little bit of glue here, and you're just going to center that onto that square. I'm gluing this one flat because I'm going to pop up the leaf. So now flip your leaf over, and this is where it'd be good to use the black dimensionals because then you won't see them. And I'm going to be putting one on each of the leaves and then one in the center there. I didn't do the stem. If you want to do that stem, what you could do is cut yourself a little baby strip here, and I'll show you. If you really, really want a little bit on that stem, just cut yourself a little bit off the end of here. And this, you don't have to. I don't think I did it on mine, but in case you want it all popped up, then what you would do is you're cutting yourself this really teeny tiny little strip, and you just get that right on your stem, and then you've got your stem popped up too. So you can make the dimensionals into the size that you need them to be. Don't be afraid to cut apart, you know, especially these. You get the edges. You don't want to waste them. Go ahead and use them. Cut them up into little strips. And I like these black dimensionals because now going on to this early espresso, you won't see the black, or if it was white, you'd see the white dimensionals, but now you don't see it because it blends in with the early espresso. Very cool. All right. Then what we could do here, oh, I don't know if I lost you guys. Oh, it came back. Whew, good. So I try to watch you on my phone to see if that happens, but it's spinning now, and I don't know what's going to happen. I know that I'm going to keep recording, and I can always upload the video later. So you might lose me, and maybe you have already, but if you have, you can always watch the replay. Okay, so after that, then what we can do is put our little sentiment on here, and we're going to use liquid glue for that, and go ahead and adhere that to your leaf just like that. And then I have something fun for you. We have the champagne rhinestones. So everybody got a few of them, or 2 of them, in your kits, and what you can do is put, oh, I only have these size, so we're going to put this one on here. Oh, you know what? I have more coming. So for you that got kits from me, I've got the smaller ones in your kit. And so you got 2 of them, so just look for them. I have more coming of these in the, oh, here's a little guy. Hang on. There's one more here. I went through a lot of them. so just know that you have 2 of them, 1 for each side of your sentiment here. And that champagne really accents the Cajun Craze. Crazy how cool it looks with it. So those are the champagne rhinestones. They are a fun little thing. All right, so I'm going to just take a quick second here and see once if I can get right back in to my Facebook Live. I'm trying to find it real quick. You guys are going to follow along with me here to see if I can find it. Sorry for the ad lib here. Maybe it's just my internet, and no, it shouldn't be my internet, but yeah, I'm not getting it pulled up, but it says it's recording, so I don't know if everybody's having problems or just me. So, okay. So you have here, this is the copper trim, and that's part of that gathered suite here. So what I did, everybody in your kit, you have this little, all I did was tie it together, and that's going to go right on our tail here. So we are definitely going to use glue dots for that. So grab a glue dot off, and I'm going to stick that right where I want it versus putting it on here. I put it on my paper so that I know exactly where to stick this little guy. All right, just like that. And then what you can do is take your ribbon scissors and you can trim your tails. Not a lot. If you want, you could leave them if they look perfect, like to the length that you want them, and otherwise you can trim them a hair. Give them a little haircut. Okay. All right, so there we go. In the midst of all that, we are going to have card number 2 done. So there you go. How do you like that one? And we're going to move right on to our 3rd card. And then let's see what I got here. We got the inside in there. Good job. Yay. Okay, I think I lost all of you, but I'm going to pretend that you're all still watching me. Sorry for that. I hope that you guys can catch the replay. This is the last card that we're going to do. See, we were already coming to the end of our scheduled program here. So this is, I think, I love this card a lot too. I love the fall colors with it, and the Cajun Craze with the pretty peacock, and then the pumpkins with the mint. There's even a little, I keep calling these feathers, but they're not feathers, they're leaves. So if I say feathers throughout this, just know I mean leaves. So, okay. So what you're going to do is pull out your papers if you have the kit from me, and your card base here is pretty peacock. So traditional 8.5 by 5.25. And you're gonna fold it and then burnish your edges like this with the bone folder. Okay, you get a lot of work, your bone folder gets a lot of workout when you make cards with me. Okay, so what do we've got going on here? We have your 4 by 5.25 vanilla inside. That's gonna go here. And then we have Early Espresso. This is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then this is the Sahara. Sahara is 3 13/16 by 4 15/16. And what's super cool about this is I pulled in the Birch background stamp. And I don't know if you've used a background stamp in the past or not, but Stampin' Up! Sells maybe a handful to a half a dozen of them. And they are a really big stamp that looks like that. And so I bought this one as a red rubber stamp. They also sell the background stamps as wood-backed stamps. I generally save the $5 and just get this, and I never even put the plastic sheet on it. I just keep it like that. I think I stored the plastic sheet here. They come with the plastic sheet. I just put it in the back, so I don't use it. But this is how you use a background stamp. So what you do is you could get the really big block and put it on the really big block, but then you're trying to stamp with this block and holding it like this, and that's a lot of work. So what I do is I put the stamp like this upside down, and then I ink up with the ink of my choice, and this one is Sahara Sand. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna gently put your paper on the background stamp. So we're gonna do the other side here, just so you can see what this is all about. You're gonna put that on like this, and then grab yourself a piece of paper, and you're just gonna rub over the top of this like that. And that will help to get it imprinted, the birch imprinted onto the Sahara Sand paper. So this was Sahara Sand with Sahara Sand ink. And that's how you use a background stamp. And so you can see this is what we used in class. So everybody uses that same piece of paper. And then when you're done with it, you just use the chamois. I'll show you here. You can just use the chamois to clear it up like this. To clean it up, I should say. So just like that. Okay, and that's how you clean the background stamps. And then that goes back in there. And the birch can go home into its case. All right, so we've got that done. And so what we can do is go ahead and glue that onto our piece of Early Espresso. Didn't matter which side, honestly, so don't tell me, oh, you're gluing the wrong side. Nope, I had them both stamped, so I'm okay. And then that's gonna fit nicely. Oh man, so I had a couple that I cut wrong, and this was one of them. So hang on. I'm glad I caught that. So we said this was 3 13/16. So this needs to get cut off. Right? No, actually I had it wrong. It's 3 and, so wait. This is me doing math. Hang on. This one is 3 7/8. So then it's minus 3/16 is right here. 3 11/16. My bad. Okay, so I needed to cut off 1/8 of an inch there, and I gotta update my notes here. Oh man, if you guys got instructions from me, I might have to update them in the PDF tutorial. Sorry. Okay, I'll make sure I get that fixed. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of glue still on here, so we're still good. We're gonna put this on here, and now it should fit. So with that being said, if you got a kit from me and your Sahara doesn't fit on the brown properly, I think I caught them all, and this one I didn't catch. So just know that's 3 11/16. And then in your kit, you have some Early Espresso. It's 5 1/8 by 3/4, and then 3 and, what is this one? It's 3 7/8 by 3/4. And so this is being embossed with the Pinewood Planks embossing folder. So those are all done for you. And then what you're gonna do is just put a little bit of glue down onto either side. It just depends what you like better. I, in this case, wanted to go with the popped up version. And you'll know what I mean when you see this embossing folder. In this case, the wood looks like it's popped up, and the back side looks like it divots down. And so I wanted the popped up to be my look. Okay, so then that is gonna go across the side, and no rhyme or reason, just put it right about there. You could go up a little higher, you could go a little lower, and then give that a second to glue on. Now, I gave everybody a bunch of pieces. I gave you die cuts of the pumpkin and the big leaf, and I also gave you pieces of orange pumpkin pie and Cajun craze paper. I didn't know who has a stamp set or who doesn't, but I know it's really hard to stamp this image onto this teeny tiny die cut and have it match perfect. So you've got two things going on. You can either use the die cut and then draw your lines on how you want them, or if you don't have the stamp set, or I gave you a piece of paper, and if you have the stamp set or something else, you could stamp it in espresso and then die cut it. Okay, and then everybody's got a strip of Very Vanilla, I think, and then also a classic label punch already die cut. Again, I don't know how easy or hard it is for you guys to stamp your sentiments on your label. So I gave you the best of both worlds. I gave you the ability to stamp on something that's already punched or die cut, and I gave you a piece of paper so that you have more wiggle room. And then on my many thanks, I stamped my sentiment over to the right a little bit more versus to the left. So that gave me some room for my pumpkin to nestle on to my label here to make it look like it's sitting on it. Okay, so the one leaf I think is copper, which is die cut for you. I've got a mint one already cut for everybody. And then this is, I think, the bronze one, but it looks really tan to me. And those come from, I think, like, I don't know if I do have the dies here. Hang on. So there's the stamp set that we're working with. And then there is a whole set. I'm looking for the dies. I'll come across them. But this is the Gather Together stamp set. And there is a set of dies that goes with it. And I don't know exactly where they are, but these are all the like bits and parts that come from that set. So this is the Cajun leaf that I stamped in espresso and die cut. And then the pumpkins are also in orange, and that is stamped in espresso. And then everybody has a feather. Now, feather, I told you I was going to do that. A leaf. Okay, so the reason I did this is just to make sure that my edges were flush on the sides. And now that I know that they're good, I can actually take my liquid glue and put this on here with that. And I have it so that a little bit more of the pretty peacock is showing, so it's a little bit smaller of a base. We'll go ahead and glue our inside in using the liquid glue. And, oh, there you go. Gotta have your eyes everywhere. Put that in the right way. Now, assembling this. You're like, how do I do this? And like, what's the trick for it? Because a lot of people will start with the pumpkin. I start with this leaf and I work my way down to the pumpkin. And I use a combination of glue dots, dimensionals, and liquid glue. So for my leaf, I'm gonna take the small mini glue dots and I'm going to put them around, I'm just going to do the top 3. And then on the bronzy copper, the darker leaf, I'm going to put on the 3. For the mint one, I'm going to put 1 at the top. And for that tanny one at the top. Pumpkin gets 2, 1 on each pumpkin. So that's the mini dimensionals that I used. Okay, so then take all your backs off, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to gently set them onto the card. I'm not going to push them down, just in case I need to move them to a different spot, just then they're not squished so much. So I'm going to kind of think, okay, well, this guy's going to go right about here, and I'm just gently scenting, and then this one's going to go maybe right about here. This one's going to be tucking, so I got him more over that. So that means I want to bring this one down a hair. This needs to come down a little bit. So again, you're just rearranging. And then this one gets tucked behind here. So make sure that he can fit under. So because you didn't squish the dimensionals down, you're able to gently pick it up to get them to go exactly where you want them. Pumpkins last. And if I put the pumpkin here, this one gets covered a lot. So we're going to move this one up a hair. And did you notice I didn't even put any liquid glue or anything on the bottom of the leaves? Because now when I stick my pumpkin, it kind of like seals the deal. Like it squishes everything down and I get depth with it. So the last little guy here is the feather, and I used a glue dot at the base of that, and that's going to get nestled behind the pumpkin. So it's coming out the side like that. Now I saved the bow for making in front of you gals. So grab out your little handy bow maker, and we're making a little baby bow, and we're using the copper trim. So in your kits, you got your bows made for you, because for traditional card classes, I just make the bows for everybody. There are certain events or things I do that I don't, like when they're product based, because I don't open up everybody's ribbons. But for this one, when I provide the bows, I make them. So you're going to make your, I did that really fast. So you have it live on TV, or I should say you had it live, so you could stop and replay it and watch it again. So, all right. So that was that. I do it without even thinking these days. Okay. So then grab a little glue dot, and I'm going to nestle this bow right underneath my leaf here. And then you're going to look for the front. So the back, when I make the bow, the back is the front because it has the nice edge to it. And I'm going to just kind of pull my tails down a little bit. And we're going to trim this with our ribbon scissors. Okay, and then we just have a few embellishments to put on here. So everybody has their pearls and their kits already. What I did to get them the color I did, let's find, oh, here's some. So I have lots of the big ones here, not a lot of small ones. So take your pretty peacock marker, and I just colored the pearls because just like with that last card with the green. So we've got two small ones and then the medium one. And I go twice over them to get them a nice dark coat. And then you definitely want to grab your glue scissors, and we're going to go for the big boy first. And I've got him, where do we want to put him? I've got him up here, and then I did put one on the end of my little label right there, and then one up here. So I did add some bling, and my finger took on some of that color because it wasn't dry. So I'm just going to gently touch that up like that. So just to give it a little once over. All right. So coloring on pearls and rhinestones is an awesome thing. Do not forget to do that. You can color a lot of embellishments and a lot of ribbons. And so, hey, look at that. And we had technology issues and everything. And just know that as soon as I'm done here, I will upload this video back into the Facebook page. And so I'll get, there'll be two. So you'll start to see, you'll have both. So this one, I'll label it as the better, like full, complete one. But how do you like that card? I love it. So I made this one into a congratulations card, and then I gave it to the kid I used to babysit for, Nick. He got married this weekend. I babysat for him when I was 11 years old, and he was probably 7. Nope. So I was 11. Ben was 7, 5, and 3. So something like that. And so this was the card I gave him for their wedding. And I did my trick of not writing in it. I used a Post-it note. So then the card was actually their gift too, so they can reuse it. I am very excited. That bow turned out really good, didn't it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't have Jean here, but reminding me, so what can we Stella? Stella was not on a hot date tonight. She's still here. So, okay, you can Stella ribbon. So we're just going to put a little bit of glitter on that. And then the other thing I would Stella on here is the edge of this label like this, just like that. So we got a little Stella action there. On this one, I would Stella this minty green leaf, get a little glitter on there. You have to be careful with the pumpkins. If you do Stella pumpkins, you don't want to go over the top of the espresso in case it bleeds. You just want to do some up and down lines here. You could Stella your little wood element, give that a little glitter. It doesn't really stick to the brush metallics. Okay, there's not much I would do in here because there's so much gold. I mean, not much gold, much brushed metallic, but you could do your outer edge here of the 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, this box here. So, Stella got a workout tonight. She thought she was going to get out of it, but here she is. She's on overdrive right now. So, and I know in the video, it's really hard to see that, but what Stella is it's a glitter brush. And what's awesome about it is it's controlled. And so you put it on your project and it doesn't come off. So wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So down here you can see that I didn't update my host code and I closed this workshop. So if you need anything tonight or in the future, while this one's still open, it's SVMDAXCM. If you go to my website, cardsbychrisb.com, you can always see the host code. And a lot of people wonder about that. So sometimes it's hard to see it. I know you guys are probably messaging me. Oh, so let's see here. I gotta go to here. So go to Cards by Chris B. And if you go to like the newsletter or blog page, and maybe it's better to do like newsletter. When you're on a computer, you can see it on the right-hand side. There's a whole column for it. But when you're in a phone, it's really hard to see. So I went to About Me. And then if you scroll down to underneath my picture, that's where you see the current host code. And that's where I've got that SVMDAXCM. And if you click on that link right there, that actually takes you right into it. And you shouldn't even have to enter the code. But a couple of people have been asking me, where do you find the code? The current code. And it's always on my website, cardsbychrisb.com. So, well, I know that I lost you, and so I felt sad that I missed out hanging out with you for this last card, but just know that it's here yet. So we ended a little bit earlier tonight because there was only 3 cards. It's only 7:15. And so the first thing I get what I'm gonna do when I get off of here is I'm gonna download the video out of my app, and then I'm gonna upload it into Facebook. And all you lovely people can catch the replay, which I'm so sad that it won't be live, but just know that normally I'm watching your comments as they come through because we're live. But for this class in particular, if you want to comment or ask questions, I'll be watching them throughout the next few days so that if I see anything where you're asking a question, I can type it in the response. The other thing though is if you ever have a question or you need help with anything, you can always reach me via email at chrismbertram@msn.com. And I text, phone calls are good too. My phone number is 920-960-4390. You guys are welcome to call anytime you have questions. I'm here to help. You know, I love making sure that people are getting their crafting in and feeling creative and inspired, and I go bend over backwards for all my customers. And so if you don't have a demonstrator that you work with, or if you if you don't have a demonstrator that you already work with and you need help, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I love to help everybody. So if you need anything, you guys just let me know. I think that's about it. So I feel really sad. I'm like ending this like nobody's there to say goodbye to, but you're there. You guys, gals are watching the replay. So on that note, so next week, Thursday, is Paper Pumpkin Live. It's the September one, which are like little treat holders that I'm not quite sure. I didn't really read up on it much. So, oh yeah, I always get a little bit anxious for Paper Pumpkin Lives because you girls get me on the spot with trying to be creative on the fly. It's always a little bit harder than making cards that I've made like 5 times with people already. So next week, Thursday, is the Paper Pumpkin Live. And then the following Thursday, oh my goodness, is October 1st. And it is the Gilded Autumn class. So again, if anybody needs to place an order and want to sign up for this class, these are 3 of the 4 cards. This gal is going to either go upstairs tonight or tomorrow after Stone or Saturday, but I'll get that 4th card done by Saturday. And so you guys can see that class published. So if you need anything, let me know. I think I also have a couple sets of the Plaid Tidings cards from last week, if anybody wants those instead. So I have 2 sets of those left, I think. So, all right, everybody, have a good rest of your Thursday night, and I'll get this uploaded as soon as possible so that you can watch it. And I miss you already. So lots of love and hug and sunshine and happiness to you. We're going to have a wonderful week next week with, I think, high 70s again or mid 70s. So wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend. And we'll see you again next week, Thursday. Love you. Bye.